and everything stops for tea.
And welcome back. Well, today has been a day with technical gremlins, but here we go again. Welcome to the third A Cup of Tea with Mr. G. We're going to do this because we won't give up. And I mentioned on the other broadcast that if you happen to be tuning in, would you do me a favor? There's a little comments box, and would you just send a comment, just say hi. And also, if you want to ever ask a question to any of my guests, then just use the comment box and I'll ask that question. So, fingers crossed. Please, the internet gods be with us. Gives me great pleasure to introduce a young gentleman, young entrepreneur, which I have had the pleasure to meet many years ago, and that's Nathan Brett. Nathan, nice to see you again.
Yes, and again. Oh,
I do not believe it, Mrs. Wildbase.
I know. This is, well, we got worse internet connection than Saturday night takeaway viewers, didn't we?
You and I, we're going to pool our positive thoughts and we're going to get through this. Nathan, I said before, it's great to see you again. And we worked it out 6 years ago on a Fred Olsen cruise ship. You and your family, we played table tennis every day. But at that time, I didn't realize that you were an entrepreneur. And I got as far, excuse me, in the previous things before the internet kicked in with its problems, to ask you, how did this entrepreneurship, how did this all manifest? If I can go back to, say, at school, what were you like at school? That's really what I wanted to find out, your story.
I never liked school. I liked one subject and one subject only, and that was design technology. So we had a brilliant department at our school, Greenacre School, boys' school, now Greenacre Academy in Walderslade.
Whereabouts is that?
Walderslade in Kent, in Chatham.
In Kent, yeah.
Right. They was awarded so many times in regards to the facilities that they've got there. They've got so many different things for metalwork, woodwork, designing 3D, 4D. That I think we was one of the first schools in the country to actually start to bring in 3D printing.
Wow!
Which was it was good, very good. Although now it's a lot bigger. They've always been they've been around for years, but it was just the initial cost of them first of all. But we were one of the schools. We were actually sponsored. I think it was by Delphi Technologies, the ones that do all like the big diesel pumps. Actually does most of the components for a cruise ship, actually, funny enough.
Wow.
For the
so
engine
did
room.
You really then have this teacher who wanted you think, I'm going to go into mechanics, technology, that type of work? And did you actually end up staying at school and taking all your exams in that, or no?
I took all my GCSEs, and then I lasted for 2 weeks at sixth form because I really wanted to get out of school, wanted to get straight into work. The actual love for cars come from my granddad has been a mechanic for 50 something odd years. So every time when I was growing up, I only ever knew him as out on a car or at work. So that's what. But me being a stroppy child as I was, and me again being a stroppy teenager, as every teenager is.
Mrs. Pearson, I don't want to go see cars, Mrs. Pearson. I want to go play my Xbox. Like
that? Parts of their life is kind of similar. Only parts. I
thought you would have gone into a mechanic apprenticeship when you left school. I'd be very surprised if you didn't.
No. I went into something completely different. So it kind of was a little bit of desperation, but also a little bit of I was quite inquisitive to go into it. I always wanted to know where everything come from. But what I'm on about is electrical wholesaling. So similar to Booker's, but imagine instead of Mars bars, they are switches and sockets. that type of thing. So I used to work in a big warehouse. I went for an apprenticeship at a company in Maidstone, and we done everything, lights, the lot. And I'd done a year's apprenticeship within the warehouse for that. After that, I then moved into sales, which is where selling the cars comes from. But also, after I left, because I worked up and was working all around the country, and then I moved into car sales. So I thought.
So you still haven't got your hands, apart from when you were the exception to the rule. You would go out with your granddad and say, "Granddad, what are you doing there?" "Well, I'm changing a sump filter diesel thingy, whatever it is."
Yeah. I would just go out there and go, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I don't know. I'm changing a crankshaft sensor." "All right, do you want a cup of tea?" "Yeah, go on then." All right. It literally from here up until probably until I was probably the age of 20. Until the age of 20, and then that's when, as young people do, they buy a little car. Well, no, I started driving when I was 17. As soon as I could drive, I did. As soon as I literally passed my tests 5 months after my birthday, literally like my 17th birthday, I drove as quick as I could to get onto the road. And my first car was an in-betweeners car. That's something that not many people know about that.
Briefcase? I can't say it. No.
No, I never had a briefcase. But I was driving as quick as I could.
The fact you haven't really touched a car yet. You've gone now into sales in electrical.
I know, to be completely honest, the turning point for me I've always wanted to work on cars, but I don't know how to. And the turning point was, and I'm so ashamed to say, but everyone's got to start somewhere, is I literally said to my granddad, "How do you change the spark plugs?" And he went, "What, you don't know?" "No." "All right, I'll show you then." And it literally went from that. It literally went from the question of, how do I change my spark plugs? I knew how to change a wheel in case of an emergency, or I knew how to service my car, kind of. But it got to the point where, how do I change my spark plugs? And from then on, I was sold. As soon as I saw oil and dirt, I was in.
So I imagine you'll be a great salesman, because a great salesman, he knows his product line, he knows his customers, and this is a big place that you're working at. So but I'm still confused as to how did you go from there into the world of cars? I know you got your granddad's side of things, but how did you move into that?
I've always loved cars. I've always loved cars, motor racing, building stuff, being out. I've always liked that sort of thing. So going from the metalwork side, so the welding side, what I was doing at school, then moving into, because then I think you've got a picture of a Banger Racer, which I helped build.
I've got a picture of this one, and that is your.
I would just like to say for everyone, it is actually the grey car. It's not the one being hit. It is the one being hit, but it's the one
number 98.
Yeah, well, yeah, we changed our number now to 198 because there was someone that dived in before us this season. But we're the one actually in front.
So you obviously just work on these things. You know the cars inside out, but I'm still trying to get to where you go from you're an apprentice. Well, you're not an apprentice. You work in sales. In electrical. So did you move into a different sales area after that?
Well, I moved into car sales.
Oh, you moved into car sales, right?
Yeah. So I went to work for Nissan, and then after Nissan, I then wanted to see what other car dealerships are like, because everyone presumes. I can't say the word. I've done it. It's gone. They think that the car dealers are there to sell them everything, and I thought, well, I've been to one car dealer and they're not like that at all. Especially working there, you're not trained to do that. I wonder what it's like at the other. So then I went to work for, it was a trio brand. It was Subaru, SsangYong, and MG, and that was in Maidstone as well. And I went there, and yes, they are completely different. And then I thought, why don't I do it myself? I can do it. I can do it. Why not? So then I
that
thought,
was your,
you know
eureka moment, was it?
Yeah. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy at all working for MG, SsangYong, and Subaru. Wasn't happy at all. I'm not saying they're not a good company. I'm just saying that wasn't for me. And I ran out the door quicker than I ran in, really. Went to work for Sainsbury's just while I was trying to figure out how I was going to do it myself, really. Trying to figure out where I was going to work. I was home delivery driver. So at the beginning of the pandemic. So overnight in February, it went from everyone being normal to then going out and panic buying toilet paper, which was fun. So then I was, instead of doing, when I started in January, obviously it was just after Christmas, and everyone knows that January is a long month because there's a long payday, etc. End of January was manic. Beginning of February was quiet. Then at the end of February, when the Prime Minister Boris Johnson started saying we're possibly going into lockdown, it tripled overnight. Sainsbury's go for doing usually 50,000 deliveries. Yeah, usually 50,000 deliveries a day. Sorry, for Sainsbury's, 50,000 deliveries a day they do for the home delivery. It shot up. You know, from doing 10 to 15 deliveries, you were doing.
That's a long 30. Day for you, imagine.
Yeah, up to 30, 35. Everyone was knackered.
When was the moment that you said, right, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to actually start up my own company?
3 days before lockdown.
Wow. 3 days before lockdown.
3 days before lockdown. Now, where my plan, I didn't expect the country to go into a lockdown. I knew that COVID was bad, and it was killing a lot of people. But I didn't expect it to go as bad. Where the UK government completely pulled all different types of funding, startup grants, like it's called a Go Green grant, so you can like do different improvements to your house to make it more energy efficient. They pulled every single grant, and that's what pays for furlough. So every single help out there was gone. Now I left Sainsbury's with £400 in my pocket. 2 days before lockdown, I went to a car auction. Didn't see anything I wanted. And as well as that, it was starting as a small budget. So I wasn't expecting to walk out there with a Mercedes or something. Went back there a day before lockdown. So I went there on 2 consecutive days, bought a car, got it home, started doing everything, turned it around within a week. Now, bearing in mind, lockdown had just started. And everyone was at home, and I was like, right, well, I've got a car, I need to sell it. What can I do? I then started offering home delivery, and from that just spiraled out of control. It really did. It shot up. I was doing on my own, I was probably doing between 5 and 15 cars a month.
Wow.
Just on my own. That's going out, buying the car, because I was having to do it from home on like the computer and different apps. I was buying the car, traveling to get the car, fix the car if needed, service it, MOT it, road test it, list it, and actually sell it, all within that time. And I was on my own. So then in the summer, so literally I started in March, I'd probably say in August, I took on a full-time mechanic. So then they can do the stuff when I'm not around.
Yeah.
Going out and just running the company, not so much doing the day-to-day stuff such as brakes and all that. It's the accounts. It's so many other things that people don't realise.
There's a lot of things.
Well, you know yourself. You got to do all your accounts and So yeah, I was traveling around the country. Sorry. And I wouldn't be in the position I would be now without my mum, my nan, my granddad, and one of my best mates, Brad, who he has been brilliant. He's been brilliant. And what I'm going to tag him in this video because I want him to see how much I appreciate. I want him to see that. I wouldn't be where I am without him. So
you know, his friendship is so important. I know I didn't know how many people would just reach out when I had my sort of sad news this year, and that's what it's all about. I want to be able to do something I can try and give a shout out for people, because you have started a business as an entrepreneur. You've had a belief exactly what I'm going to do, and then you got 3 days into it and the whole thing's taken away from you. Mentally, how did you come back from something like that, Nathan?
Good question. December the year before, I took months off, just for my mental health. I got out of a very messy relationship. It was a bad breakup. Financially, at that time, I managed to save enough money for me just to have a month off, and I had to move back into the family home, and I just needed to regroup, rethink, refocus. I need to know what I want. And I was doing the odd days here and there for agency, and I always had in the back of my mind, I'm going to work for myself one day. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to work for myself one day. I can dig holes. So, builder. What can I do? I can sell. But what can I sell? Cars. I like cars. That's when it happened. That December when I had it off, well, that's what I'm going to do. But I need to find the right moment. I'm still waiting for that right moment now. No, and then that's what happened at the end of. So I took December off. The following year, at the end of March, I worked for 3 months solidly. And within those 3 months, I saved up enough money to take the business properly. So I'm a fully limited business, which is good. But yeah, mentally, it's draining because you can't switch off. You know yourself, you're worrying about when the money's coming in.
Yeah.
I've got a day without work. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So that's hard to come. But you've just got to pick yourself up, and the phone could ring, and you could have 10 jobs waiting.
I've got a gentleman called John Ryan, who's not only a brilliant comedian, but his main business is that he talks about male mental health, and he's fantastic what he says, because a lot of people just sort of say, "Oh, you'll be all right," you're just going through. But mental health generally, it is such an important subject to talk about. I've got to ask you this question: does this help you take your mind off things and you distress?
Yeah. So
because that is a little bit different to this, right?
Yes.
I don't know a lot about cars, Nathan, but there's
about 50 grand difference.
50 grand difference this one. What is this one that you're driving?
That is a 2006, I believe, BMW M3. I can't remember the year, but yeah, it's a BMW M3 that is completely stripped back, bare metal, with a roll cage, a huge V8 engine in, and I've got a big right foot. And I would like to say as well, I am on a racetrack though. I'm at Snetterton Racetrack.
I've got to do this for you then. I've got to do this. Ready? And there we have Nathan BMW Mark III getting ready to go round in an absolutely incredible round.
Oh, fair old.
Yeah, anywhere in
Murray.
Murray, what a big sad loss.
Yeah,
listen,
he was.
I want to ask you a question. I would say that in your whole experience is that you're very down to earth sort of person when it comes to your business. So what is your business at the moment? Is it just based in Kent, or are you nationwide, or what? Tell me, because I want to give you a shout out as to how people can get in contact with you. And down here, look, I'm trying to be. Oh, there we are. Look,
yeah, we go. Hang on. This one.
Sales. Oh, it's weird. I can't do that.
It's sales at nvautomobiles.co.uk.
Right. Okay. Now, just tell me what you can offer people then, because you talked about the complete delivery package of picking it up and doing whatever. What other things can you do for people?
I do everything. Absolutely everything. So I can buy you a car, I can fix the car, I can deliver the car, I can recover the car, I can diagnose faults on the car, I can pick you up, I can do basically what the AA does, and I can sell you a car at the same time.
Well, and this is this specific to your area, or where's your sort of?
I've delivered up to Newcastle. I've delivered YA, man. I've delivered YA. I've collect cars nationwide. I deliver car nationwide. We're also a bespoke buying. So basically, because I've bought so many cars through the different auction houses, obviously that's trade pricing. So if you said to me one day, Nathan, I've got a 10 grand budget, I want you to go out and buy me a nice BMW 3 Series. I want it in white, I want it in M Sport, and I want 18-inch wheels. I want it real pimping. No problem, Chris. I'll send you a couple of pictures of that. I can get you that for 8 grand. Trade pricing. I'm not going to make the 2 grand.
No. He who these win, Nathan, you know. I do not believe it. Del, what about that free wheel? No, get rid of that. No, I'm going to have a word with Nathan. You see, he's going to get something pucker. I would not trust, Boise to get some motor. You do, Boise. Go and do your Boise laugh. No. Go and do your Boise laugh. I'll set it up for you. All right, Boise.
Come along, Marlene. Large cognac, please, Michael.
I love it. That's fantastic. I thought he's in the room there for a minute, Nathan.
During the war.
No, it's just cushy, that is. Listen, I'm gonna sort of sign off in the next couple of minutes whilst the internet gods are with us, because I don't know what they've been doing earlier, but thank you for being so accommodating and coming back and doing that again. And it's been absolutely lovely chatting to you. And what I'll do is I'll take you off screen in a minute, and then I'll just have a little chat to people just to give them some updates as to what's happening. But what's the future then? What's the plan forward? Are you is there?
There's a lot in the pipe work. There is a lot in the pipe work. So what I'll go over it briefly because I know you want to crack on.
Right, please do.
So I'm in the middle of converting. Well, I'm going to be buying a van.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be converting it into a mobile office and workshop.
Excellent.
So what I'm going to be doing is putting like what the side of like caravans and everything, they've got like
the awning.
Yeah, like sort of like that.
Awning.
Morning to you too. They'll be able to drive the car into it. I can work under there in all weather, and it's literally going to be a mobile office and workshop. So half of it is where I can print your invoices, do your service history, and the other side is literally going to be tools, bring the awning and the cover out. I'll be able to tow on there as well, because then I'll be having a trailer as well. So it's literally going to be a mobile workshop and recovery.
Well, would you do me a favour, Nathan? Can you, when it's up and running, can we do another cup of tea with Mr. G and send me some pictures and do me a little movie clip, and then I'll give a big shout out, and then we can just hopefully get some people to pick up the phone and say, Nathan, I'm thinking about getting a car, or Nathan, I've broken down and can you tow me and stuff, because towing is it's
very expensive.
Nightmare.
I did just want to say one thing first. And this is talking to yourself and also anyone. If anyone did want, or if anyone is looking for a vehicle or anything, and obviously at the moment, due to COVID regulations, you're not allowed to come and look at the car, because every time that someone comes to look at the car, it costs me £35 to get basically to completely sanitize the car. Someone's got to come out all in specialist gear. Not to say that you're COVID, but it's to stop different interaction. Now, I'm not the type of person to hide things, and not the generic car dealer where people have got such a stereotype of a dodgy car dealer. If you buy a car from me, you get a video call because you can't come. and you literally get a full walk around of that car. I work on that car, so I know exactly in and out of that car. So I've like I said, I've sold 100 cars this year, even with lockdown, with probably about 95 of them not seeing the car at all. So that success rate is good. But as Mr. G's favourite film, Wolf of Wall Street, I don't judge people. I don't judge people on my winners. I judge people on my losers because I have so few, and that's not me. Please don't take that as me being big-headed. No. It's just because I'm a perfectionist. I don't like things. I don't like getting rid of a car or selling a car that have got problems. No car of mine. Touch wood. Where's
touch wood? Yeah.
I've had not one come back. Sorry, I did have one, and that was sorted out.
As Matthew McCarthy, all righty, my friend. That's good. I like what you're doing there. Yeah.
But if anyone does want anything, feel free. You've got my email at the bottom.
Just give me. I'm going to do this again this time. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
There it is. There it
is. I feel like we present a TV show.
I feel like Malcolm. I feel like Trevor McDonald.
Mr. G. Yes. Mr. G. These tickets for this Manchester United.
Please buy a ticket.
I will have 5.
Now,
I will have 5. And as well as that, what I'm going to be doing as well, my end, there's a charity close to me, and there's also a care home close to me as well. Now, what I'm going to be doing, I'm personally, and I'm more than happy to split it with you and Corky's charity, your chosen charity as well. We're going to go 50-50, and what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be raffling off a major service, a minor service, and a pre-MOT check as well. It's all going to be done at my house. I will collect the vehicle for you. I'll deliver the vehicle back for you, as long as you're around sort of Kent area and not too far away. And what we're going to do, we're going to raffle them off. I think when I discussed with a couple of my other people, I think we were doing £7 for a minor ticket and then £14 for a major ticket. All profits are going to be split half and half between my charity and your charity. So then that way you get even more for your charity. My charity gets a little bit as well, and as well as that, I get to spread the word. And let's get some money for the charities that have been struggling.
If you need a charity show, Nathan. If you need a charity show, just remember where I am and say, Chris, are you free? And I'll come down and do a charity show, because it's all about trying to, just get people to support charity. And you're conscious of this. I'm conscious of this. In this day and age, it is so difficult. Everybody is struggling with money. We totally understand that. For you to say you're buying 5 tickets, I'm just going to remind people, in case they haven't clocked onto this yet, myself and Rose Cook Monk, who's the first one that we have on a cup of tea, Mr. G. Rose, not only is she a celebrant, but also she's a lecturer, and she also started she founded the Duncan Edwards Foundation, which and museum, which does fantastic work for the community, kids and people who are just down on their luck and stuff like this. So I'm with this particular one, Manchester United have given 2 VIP tickets, including lunch, for a tour of Old Trafford. And because of COVID, we've extended the date that you can use that. And also, a lot of people say, well, what if I don't like football? Sorry, what? Victoria, did you say you don't like football, Victoria? Yeah, that's right, Dave. I don't like football. No, you can't. But so you can actually you can actually.
I don't think you like her music either.
You can actually give it to somebody, and it's £10 to enter. And then what I'm going to be doing, and Nathan, if you're ever up in Dudley, up in the West Midlands, and you love Manchester United, come to Rose's Museum. It's absolutely brilliant. The Duncan Edwards Foundation and Museum. And I'm going to be doing a live cup of tea, Mr. G, from the museum, and we're going to be doing the draw. And also I'm going to be announcing the winning bids, because my Corky's clothes. She had some beautiful designer clothes. So I'm like David Dickinson at the moment, Nathan. I'm like,
he's a real Bobby Dazzler.
I am the wrong colour. But we're going to have some clothes which I reckon should go to auction. Where? Auction. Right. So, so I'm going to take you off the air here. We're going to keep in contact with you. Thank you so much for your support. 5 tickets. That's absolutely brilliant. I'll link up with you after this, and just we'll have a message and just tell you exactly how we're going to do that. It's normally you just say I bought 5 tickets, and then that's what I need for them to go into the hat. So I'll put 5 tickets under your name, and the payment details are on my Facebook page. But I'll just send those over to you again.
The draw for the services, what I was saying about that as well, that is going to happen on, I think, let's do it for, how long do you reckon? Sort of 2 weeks to get?
Well, I've got my draw on the 3rd of April, and I'm going to be on a COVID-free cup of tea with Mr. G on the 3rd. Yeah. So perhaps give it till the Monday, the 5th.
Unless we make it for April the...
any day.
How long do you reckon? Do you reckon after all, like all of the restrictions have been lifted, so then the family?
Let's go for that. But you've heard about it now that Nathan is going to do this charity thing, and it's going to be fantastic, and I'm sure it's going to get very well supported. I'll just let you know, James Wilson Smith, he's been tuning in. Thank you, James. I've got somebody, I don't know who they are, which is saying hi, Chrissy. I've got hi, Chrissy. I bet you that's Katie, because she always calls me. She's Scottish. Oh, look, Chrissy, and she's me tap dancing. Jeffrey Vickery, Jeffrey and Jan, they have a site which is the Friends of CMV, and CMV were a fantastic cruise company, and they run a brilliant site, and they show us such support for doing the charity. So he's been tuning in. Hello, Jeffrey, and a lovely chap, Nick Horton, who I met on the cruise. Nearly all the people I met on the cruise ships, isn't it? I met you on the cruise ship. I met your mum on the cruise ship, Melissa.
You must be getting around.
I want to say, in all honesty, you're the sort of guy which I really do hope that you get a couple of breaks in life, and that things can start to turn the corner for you. And
I appreciate that.
With you, and that you've gone over the orange juice now.
Well, no, I did have a cup of tea, but we won't mention about the first technical problem, shall we?
2 hours ago.
We won't mention them.
All right. Listen, Nathan, you take care, my friend, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
And God bless. See you later. Bye-bye.
Ciao. So that was Nathan Brett, and what a wonderful guy. And it's really, I do mean this. I just hope that people do get a bit of a break. And thank you so much, Nathan, for supporting the charity. As I mentioned, we're in the throes, myself and Rose Cook Monk, of having what we call Corky's Collection charity auction. Now, I've put this on Memories of Mrs. G, the Facebook page, but it's also on A Cup of Tea with Mr. G. It's also on my main page. It's also on Instagram. And the idea was this. As you know, Corky used to love lovely things, and I didn't want to give it all away. I wanted to try and raise money from her designer clothes and shoes and jewellery, to raise money for the 2 charities, and 50% of everything we raise, there's no money going anywhere else. It's 100% of this money. 50% is going to go to the Love Your Hospital charity, which is going to the doctors and nurses of the ward that my Corky was on at Chichester Hospital. The other 50% is going to go to the Rose Cook and her Duncan Edwards Foundation and Museum. So you know that they're going to 2 fabulous causes. How to bid for these things? It's very, very easy. I'll just give you a quick idea. These are the sort of things which we are putting up, and you'll have on there. They've got very, very low opening bids, so we want everybody to be able to be participating in this. Look at this, these beautiful the Vivienne Westwood shoes. This is just a small selection, because every day we're putting more and more items up. And I love this. I love the colour of that. And if you want to be part of the auction, then simply put a comment in with your bid. And I thank those people who've already started bidding. It's absolutely brilliant. You've got until 12 o'clock on the 1st of April to be able to place your bids. That's 12 o'clock lunchtime on the 1st of April. And then on the 2nd of April, we shall contact everybody to say, okay, you got the winning bid, collect the money. We do ask for a contribution, a donation towards postage, because this is in the name of charity. And then on the 3rd of April, excuse me, on the 3rd of April, live from the Duncan Edwards Museum in Dudley, I am going to be doing a COVID cup of tea with Mr. G, and we're going to have, it's going to be great because Rose is going to do a virtual tour of the museum. Then we're going to let people know who are the winning bids, and then I'm going to do the draw for the Manchester United VIP tour of Old Trafford, including lunch. So the other thing to tell you before I go is that on Wednesday at 7 o'clock in the evening, I'm going to be joined by the wonderful comedy talent, which is Mr. Paul Eastwood. And then on Friday, 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to be joined by a lovely Northeast vocalist called Anna Ray. And what she does is absolutely brilliant. Anagrams. I look forward to talk to her. So thank you for bearing with us, all those people who knew that we were having some technical problems here. Thank you to Nathan. Thank you to all the people who joined us. From me, Christopher G, have a great rest of the day. And I'll be here on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. So I have to always finish off with my signature outro piece, which goes something like this. Are we ready, boys? I'll put that bottle of gin down, and we've got to do the outro.
And everything's done for tea.